So 1.1.1, we have to solve for x, right? You see already, guys, remember the goal for root solver for x, we need to factorize and make everything equal to 0, né? But can you see already here everything is factorized, right? So what we can do, we can say that x is equal to 0, né? Or x is equal to 1. Very simple, né? You don't need to multiply uh, by x and then also factorize. But if, my man, if you are really struggling, then you can multiply out, né? And then it becomes what? X squared minus x is equal to 0. Then you can use the quadratic formula because a is equal to 1, right? B is equal to -1, and then c is equal to 0. Then you can use quadratic if you are really struggling, you understand? But we can just go straight here and then find that x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 1, né? Sharp. Then for the next question up again, we have 1.1.2. 1.1.2, we are given a quadratic already, right? And we can see our a is 2, right? Our b is -4, and then c is what? -5. So we can use the quadratic formula and say x is equal to negative, and then b is what? -4, right? Plus minus the root of what? Of -4 squared. Why? Parable squared by 2. 4 squared minus 4, and then our a is what? 2, and then our c is what? It's -5. All over, 2 times 2, right? And then we'll substitute it into your thingy, into your calculator, right? Then x is equal to what? 2 comma 8, or x is equal to -0.87. Very simple, ne? 1.1.3. We are given that 5 to the exponent x is equal to what? Is equal to 1 over 25, right? But now x is in the exponent, right? So we know which is an exponential function equation, right? So the thing that we must do now is to make sure we write 125 as a base what? As a base 5, right? 125 as a base 5 is 5 to the exponent what? 3, right? Sharp. So it's 1 over 5 to the exponent 3. Then now this is going to be 5 to the exponent x is equal to, then we know this is a negative exponent, right? So it's going to be 5 to the exponent -3. Then x is equal to what? Is equal to -3. Very simple, ne? Okay, sharp. Then now we go to 1.1.4. These are inequalities, right? Sharp. Guys, if you look at this already, we have our critical points, ne? But now the problem is we don't know x squared is positive or negative, right? So what we can do, we can simplify this first, ne? And say this is going to be what? 2x, right? And then this is going to be minus x squared, right? Then it's going to be what? Minus 6, and then it's going to be plus 3x, right? Is what? Is less than 0, right? Then now we know this is negative x squared. If we add the like terms, now we have 2x and 3x, right? And both of them are what? Eh? It's positive. Okay, so we multiplied the negative 3x and the negative x, right? And then it gives us a positive. So it's going to be a positive 5x, right? And then this is minus 6 is less than 0. Ekuma inequalities, we are not allowed to leave this leading term negative. We are never, guys. We are not allowed to leave the leading term negative, right? So now you must divide by what? -1. Divide by -1. Divide by -1. So now we have what? We have x squared minus 5x plus 6. Then now the inequality is going to change from greater than to what? to less than, ne? So it's going to be less than 0. What is important, Apa, for you to know is that you cannot do AMA inequalities not knowing to x squared is it positive or negative. We understand? Okay, sharp. Then now you can factorize this together. Ne? If you factorize this, what are your factors up? Or let me change the color. What are your factors? Your factors are what? X minus 3 and x minus 2, right? Is what? Is less than 0. And then we know x is equal to 3 or x is equal to 2. These are your what? Not your answers, your critical points, right? Yes, these are your critical points. Then it means, now, what you have to do here, that parabola, that's going to give you your answer. Ne? Sharp. The smallest one is 2, and then kuza 3, right? Sharp. Now, Nyakumbula, my thing was to say that if it's less than when that upalabo less than by 2, right? And then upale 2, not 3. Then you have your answer. Very simple, ne? Remember, we don't mark the parabola, we mark these values here. Ne? So, but the parabola, make sure which way you get the right answer. Understand? Sharp. Say correct. 1.2. 1.2.1. We are given two functions. The first function is f of x. This is a linear, right? Ne? And then we are given g of x, which is a what? A hyperbola. Ne? Okay. The question says, for which values of x will g of x be what? Undefined. Ne? Now, guys, yes, it's not a parabola, it's a hyperbola. Remember, hyperbola is what? Is y is equal to a over x minus p plus q. Can you see what it's like this? A wako negative 4 njalo njalo. Okay, sharp. Now, what I'm saying up, how is something undefined? It's when now a value is divided by what? By 0. Ne? So we must make this thing 0 here. So meaning Guti is going to be x minus 3 is equal to what? 0, right? Then x is going to be equal to what? 3. Very simple, everyone. Okay. Then the next question, 1.2.2. It says solve for x if f of x is equal to g of x, right? Now, guys, can you see ukuthi kahle kahle the question lena button? This is the what? The point. This is the point of intersection of the two functions. You remember at the point of intersection, we make the graphs equal, right? Everyone. Okay, sharp. So we must make f of x. F of x is what? Is x plus 1, right? It must be equal to what? G of x, right? What g of x is what? Is negative 4 over x minus 3. Now, to make things easy for you guys, what you can do, you can put x plus 1 divided by 1. Ne? And then this will allow you to do what? This will allow you to cross multiply. You are going to multiply these two and then multiply these two. Yeah, okay, sharp. So meaning good again, we are going to multiply x plus 1 by what? By x minus 3. And then we are going to multiply what? Negative 4 by what? By 1, which still stays as what? As negative 4. Then now we can use FOIL method again. This is going to be x squared minus 3x, right? We multiply these two. Minus 3x plus x minus 3 is equal to 4. Then we can add like terms. Negative 4, ne? Okay. Then we can add like terms and say that x squared minus 2x. Then if we take negative 4 to the other side, plus 1, ne? Plus 1 is equal to 0, right? Okay, sharp. Then we can factorize this, ne? If you look at the factors here, this is going to be what? X minus 1 and x minus 1 is equal to 0. Can you see Uguti? This is the same thing, right? So we can say Uguti is equal to 1. One. Very simple, ne? 1.2.3. State whether the graph of f is a tangent to the graph of g when f of x is equal to g of x. Bathini ya. Bathi. What do you think this question is asking? So now, this question, guys, is asking Uguti if uh, f of x is equal to g of x, how many points does it touch, right? How many points do they touch, ne? So bafuna a point of intersection of these, ne? And already we have done this, we have done this, Uguti. Here is the point of intersection, and we can see, Uguti, how many points at how many points do they touch? 1 point. Can you see? We already solved for x and said, okay, at the point of intersection, right? At the point of intersection where f of x is equal to g of x is equal to 1, right? So meaning Uguti, f of x and g of x touch at what? At 1 point, making what? Making what? F of x a tangent to what? To g of x. So everyone. So, but what you can say again as a reason, how can you put it as a reason? Okay, this is how you write it, ne? At f of x is equal to g of x, ne? X is equal to 1. Therefore, f and g touch at 1 point, ne? Therefore, f is a g. Simple. Okay, so guys, this is how we're going to move. Ne? The non-routine questions, we are going to do them right at the end. Ne? So for now, we are going to stop at 1.2.3. Then we are going to start with sequence and series. Ne? Okay, so I would like you to do question 2, and it's 11 marks. I can't say 11 minutes. Let's do question 2 and question 3. And together it's how many marks? It's 27 marks, right? I'll give you 30 minutes. It's now uh, 10 to 9. So meaning that at 20 past 9, you will be done, right? Okay, sharp. Let's start marking in 1.1. So for 1.1, are we all marking? Okay, 1.1, you'll get a mark for x is equal to 0. Get a mark for x is equal to 1. That is 2 marks, ne? Okay, sharp. Then we go to E. 1.2, you get a mark for correct substitution onto the quadratic formula. And then you get a mark for x is equal to 2.87 and the other value. That is 3 marks. For 1.1.3, you get a mark for changing 1 over 125 to 5 to the exponent negative 3. Then you get a mark for x is equal to negative 3. That is 2 marks. Then for 1.4, you get a mark for your critical values. And then you get a mark for both, or for 2 marks for the answer, ne? So together that is 3 marks. Sharp. 1.2, you get a mark for x is equal to 3. That is 1 mark, right? And then you get a mark for simplifying. That is the first mark. The second mark, you get a mark for standard form. You get a mark for your factors. Even if you use quadratic, you get a mark for substitution, ne? And then you get a mark for x is equal to 1. That is 4 marks. Then the last question that we did, you get a mark for, oh, we didn't state, guys. Did you realize they said what? State, right? So is it a yes or a no? It's a yes, ne? You get 1 mark for yes. Hey, oh. But the reason you're not, you get a mark. The 1 mark is important, man. Then you get a mark for the reason, ne? That is 2 marks. So in total, it's out of how much? 17, right? Okay, mark yourself out of 17. Okay, now, question 2. It says that the first 3 terms of an arithmetic sequence are 4. So this is going to be what? T1, right? 13 is T2, and then T3 is what? Is 22, right? Write down the 4th term. Okay, so the question stated that it is arithmetic, right? So if it is arithmetic, then it means there's a difference, right? So the difference here, what is 13 minus 4? 9, right? So meaning also here, 22 minus 13 is 9, right? So meaning also we have to add 9 to term 4, right? So what is our 4th term? 30? 31. Very simple, ne? Okay, sharp. And then we go to the next question. Okay. Write down the 4th term of the sequence. Determine the general term of the arithmetic. So for 2.2, we know the general term for an arithmetic is Tn is equal to what? A plus n minus 1 multiplied by d, right? Okay, sharp. Then now we need to substitute. We have our A is our first term, right? Which is what? Which is 4, right? And then the difference is what? Is 9. Eh? So we can say that Tn is equal to 4 plus n minus 1 times 9, right? Okay, sharp. Then n times 9 is what? 9n, right? And then 9 times negative 1 is negative 9, right? So we'll have plus 4 minus 9. So this is going to be 9n minus what? Minus 5. Oh, Nina is smart, most. Sharp. So this is our Tn, right? Okay. 2.2. It says consider the terms of this sequence which are even, right? calculate the sum of the first 25 terms that are even. Okay, as morning, guys. The first term is 4, right? The second term is what? 13, right? The third term is what? 22, right? Fourth term is what? 31. And fifth term is what? 40. I can. So now they are saying Uguti, we must find uh, the sum of the first 25 even terms, right? Even terms, right? Okay, what are even numbers? Ne. Okay, terms that are divisible by what? By 2, ne? So in our thing here, in our sequence, you can see which 4 is divisible by 2, right? Uh, 22 is divisible by 2, right? And then 40 also is divisible by 2, right? So meaning we have a new we have a new sequence. We have 4, we have what? 22, we have what? 40, right? And it continues up until 25 terms. Everyone? Okay, sharp. So meaning in this sequence, we have to look for the difference. What is the difference here? It's 18, 18, right? Okay, so meaning if we are going to find Tn of this sequence, A is equal to 4, right? Ne? And then D is equal to what? 18, right? And then how many terms do we have? We have 25 terms, right? And they didn't say find the 25th term. They said find the what? The sum, right? So we know that the sum of an arithmetic is what? Is n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1d, right? Sharp. Then we are looking for what? The sum of the first 25 terms, right? And then we have 25 over 2, right? Which is 2. And then what is our A? Our A is 4, right? 4. And then our is plus n is 25, right? Minus 1. And then the difference is what? The difference is 18. We press a calculator. The weighing. How much is that? 5,000. It's what? Okay. Your answer is 5,500. Ne? Okay, sharp. Guys, very simple. Can you, my man, can you see that these type of questions, they want you to create a new sequence, guys. But, my man, again, how do you create a new sequence? It's the same as sigma notation. You must find what? The first 3 terms. Then you can answer any question they're asking you about the sequence. Ne? You want the first 3 terms. Ne? And then any question that is asked, you can answer it as long as you have the first 3 terms. Ne? Okay, sharp. Let's go to the last question. 2.4. Okay, Mamelan again. This is where you have to listen. The original sequence, ne? Sequence is what? Is the one above, right? The original sequence forms the what? The first differences, ne? Of a new sequence with a first term, which is what? -6, right? Determine the nth term of that thing. Now, if you look at our number patterns, the only number pattern that has a first and second difference is a what? It's a quadratic, right? Ne? Okay, so meaning the first, these 3 terms are the first differences. So we have the first term of that quadratic is -6, right? We don't know the second term of that quadratic. We don't know the third term. We don't know the fourth term, and so on and so on, right? But we know that the first difference is equal to 4, right? Then now, the next one is what? Is 3. And then the next one is what? Is 22, right? And the second difference of this sequence is what? Is 9. So meaning good, they are talking about a quadratic. You understand? Okay, sharp. And how do you find Tn of a quadratic? Tn is equal to an squared plus bn plus c, right? But we know good a 2a is equal to the second difference, right? The second difference is what? 9. But do you get what I'm saying, guys? So meaning good a is equal to what? 9 over 2, right? Sharp. Then now we know good 3a plus b is equal to the first difference, right? The first difference we're going to use 4, right? Okay, so this is equal to 4, right? But we know a is what? Is 9 over 2 plus b is equal to 4. Then what is 3 times 9 over 2? So b is equal to 4 minus 27 over 2, right? Then b is equal to what? It's negative 19 over 2. Then now we know that a plus b plus c is equal to the first term, right? The first term is what? Is negative 6. A way 2 is what? Is 9 over 2 plus, in fact, let's say minus 19 over 2, right? Plus c is equal to negative 6, right? Sharp. Then now, what is 9 over 2 minus 19 over 2? Negative 5. So meaning good now, c is equal to negative 6. Then when we take negative 5 to the other side, it becomes what? Positive 5, right? Then okay, now what is our c? Is equal to negative 1. Then now tn, get tn is equal to, our a is what? 9 over 2n squared, right? Minus 19 over 2n minus 1. That is tn. Very simple. Guys, who has a question now? Yes. No. This green is not a term. 25 is not part of the sequence. 25 is what? 25 terms. So they are going to how many terms? 25 terms. It doesn't mean that 25 is part of the sequence. Just means Uguti. How many terms are in the thing? It's 25 terms. Okay. Yes. No. Remember, in grade 12, in grade in the other grades, we said n is the position of a term, right? But in grade 12, we say n when we're dealing with series and we're dealing with sum. N is now what? The number of terms. You understand? But when you're dealing with number patterns and you're not calculating sum, you're calculating Tn, then n is what? Is the position of the term, not the value of the term. You understand? Yeah. Any other question? Okay. Can I mark? Okay. So when we're marking this thing, uh, for question 2.1, how many marks is 1 mark, right? We get 1 mark here. And then we go to 2.2. 2.2, we had to calculate we had to determine the general term, right? You get a mark for 9n and you get a mark for negative 5. So that is 2 marks. And then for this is 2.1, 2.3, right? Oh, let me fix this. This is 2.3, 2.3. For 2.3, you are going to get a mark for the difference, 18. So here's 18, you get a mark. And then you get a mark for the correct substitution into the sum of an arithmetic. And then you get another mark for, hello, ma'am. Oh, it's 2 marks for the difference, ne? And then you get a mark for substitution, and then you get a mark for the answer, ne? That is 4 marks. And then for 2.4, you get a mark for A, you get a mark for B, and then you get a mark for C, and then the last mark is for rewriting TN. That's 4 marks. So it's out of 11. Ne? So far, we've written out of 17 and 11. That is 28 marks. Okay, guys. So upper we are dealing with sigma notation, right? 3.1. Ne? Okay. Let me just minimize this screen here. Are we all done, bro? Okay, sharp. 3.1.1. We are given that we have an expression there which is sigma notation, and we have P starts at 4 and then ends at what? At 21, right? And the sequence there is negative 3 to the exponent P, right? It says write down the values of the first 3 terms of the series, right? Guys, Bonan, it the question doesn't need to ask you to write the first 3 terms, ne? When you see sigma notation, you are going to write the first 3 terms, ne? You have to expand the sigma notation before you answer, because you remember what I said in the beginning before this question, that you only need the first 3 terms to answer questions relating to number patterns, ne? So upper way now, they are scaffolding you to the answer, ne? Sharp. So the first 3 terms, what are we going to do? We are going to say is negative 3 to the exponent. The first is what? Is 4, right? And say plus negative 3 to the exponent 5 plus negative 3 to the exponent 6, right? And the sequence is what? Negative 3 to the exponent 4 is what? 81 plus what? Okay, negative 243 and what? 729. That's the first 3 terms. Then you can answer any question they ask you about this thing, because we know we are dealing with this type of series, ne? And then they say okay, for 3.1.2, they say write down the value of the constant ratio. Okay, we know that the ratio is equal to T2 over T1, which is equal to T3 over T2. It doesn't matter, right? Sharp. Then now, T2 is what? Negative 243, right? Over 81. Then R is equal to what? Hey. Negative? Okay, fine. Then 3.1.3. We have, they're asking, will this sequence to infinity, right? So they are saying good, it starts at 4 until infinity. So meaning good, if this sequence can continue until infinity, will it converge? It won't converge, right? Okay, who can tell me why it won't converge? You can Paramisi Sanders. Okay, everyone, Paramisi Sanders, I'm going. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, Ingbon. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay, All Might. Will will the sequence converge? No. Why won't it converge? You don't know that one, ne? But you know what it will converge. It won't converge, right? Okay, let me change the question there. How do you know a sequence converges? Yes, Simple. Hey guys, are you listening? The question, Nana, it's always there in an exam. You understand? A sequence, in order for a sequence to converge, R needs to be between -1 and 1. You remember? So we are going to say no, it won't converge, right? Ne? But we know, Uti, for a series to converge, R needs to be between what? -1 and what? And 1. And here, R is equal to -3. So the series won't converge. Okay, sharp. Yes. Eh? Yes. And there's what? There's the question and then there's explaining your answer. But when guys, you shouldn't give yourself the answer. No, why? We are wrong. Okay, sharp. 3.1.4. Calculate that and give your answer in terms of x. So we have this sequence starts from what? From what? From 4 to 21, right? And now it's -3 to the exponent p, but it has what? It has x, right? Okay, sharp. Uh, how are we going to do that again? How are we going to do that? First of all, we know that this sequence, is it arithmetic or geometric? It's geometric, right? But now, you remember when we were expanding this sigma notation, the first one, right? We found the first three terms, right? Okay, sharp. So now, if you look at this one, uh, it's the first, um, it's the first sequence, right? But instead now, everything is multiplied by what? By x. By what? So meaning what again? We'll have the first term. It will be what? It will be p starts at 4, right? It will be -3 to the exponent 4, which is 81, right? But this 81 will be multiplied by what? By x. So I want plus the next one. It will be what? It will be negative 243, and then it's multiplied by x plus 729 multiplied by x. It continues, right? Sharp. Now we need to find the sum of these terms, right? But we know Guti, the terms started at 4, right? And end at what? At 21, right? And we know Guti, the number of terms is what? Is end minus start, right? As 1. Okay, sharp. Our end is what? Is 21, right? Minus our start is what? Is 4, ne? And then plus 1. So how much is that? So n is equal to 18, right? Sharp. And then the next thing that we are going to use is sum of n terms, right? Which is what? Which is a, and then we open brackets, is going to be 1 minus r to the exponent n, right? Over 1 minus r, right? Okay, sharp. Then now we are going to substitute. It's the sum of how many terms? Sum of 18 terms, right? Okay, sharp. Then sum of 18 terms. What is the first term again? The first term is this one, right? 80x, right? So this is our A, right? And then the next thing that we need is R, right? R is now what? Is now negative. Uh-uh. Let's do is T2 minus T1, right? Okay, so T2 is what? Negative 243x, right? Over 81x, right? Then now R is 243 divided by 81 is negative 3, right? And then x cancels with x. Ntela, every time, never make the mistake of finding R using your head and looking uguti I is going to be, you understand? Divide T2 by T1 and see what will happen. You understand? And that's the mistake you did in term 1. That's the mistake you did in term 1 when they were asking for which values of x will the sequence converge. And then when you substituted the wrong R, because you saw it's difference of two squares. And you cancelled x minus 3 instead of what's this, x plus 3. You cancelled the wrong one because you didn't write T2 minus T1 or T2 divided by T1. You didn't do that. Sharp. So now when we substitute again, what is our value of A? It's 81x, right? And then we'll have what? 1 minus, then the thing is going to be what? Negative 3, right? To the exponent what? 18. Remember, n is 18. Sharp. Divided by 1 minus negative 1, right? Or negative 3, man. Okay, sharp. Let's not test this in, don't it? Let's do maths. So now, let's simplify the bracket up. When we simplify the bracket here, we'll have 81x. And in the bracket, guys, you can just press the calculate. How much is it? Nibambil is negative 1 minus negative 3 to the exponent 81. Nibora mani ngafuna upress calculate. Okay, in the bracket, my man, in the bracket we have what? We have 1 minus what? Minus negative 3, right? Now, another mistake you are going to do is not to put negative 3 in a bracket. Ne? Then you are going to say to the exponent of what? 18. Right? And what is that? Okay, sharp. Okay, my man. Shh. Sharp. What is the answer? Three, 8, 7, 4, 2, 0, 4, 8, 8. So it's negative, right? Okay. It's for 8. Okay. And then now, uh, this is divided by what? 4, right? Okay, sharp. Now, guys, do you understand, Uguti? Over here, the thing inside the bracket is going to be multiplied by x, right? Ne? So we can say, Uguti, we are going to multiply this by 81, right? And divide it by 4. Ne? Or what we can do, in fact, let's do it like that. This is going to be what? The negative 3, what? Multiplied by 8. So meaning Guti is going to be 81 multiplied by negative 387420488, right? Divided by 4, right? And then it will have an x to its side. Ne? So what is the answer again? 784564882x. That's your answer, ne? So, guys, my man, hello. Our, I wanted to do this and group everything and put x on the side. This is the same, ne? It's just that I just wanted to make sure we don't commit any errors, ne? Because these numbers are too big. The chances of making a mistake are very big also. Okay, sharp. The next question is 3.2. For 3.2, we are given that 6 minus x, 5, and root 4x plus 2 are the first 3 terms of an arithmetic, right? So meaning, okay, if we can have term 1 of an arithmetic, this will be what? 6 minus x, right? Sharp. Term 2 will be what? 5. Then term 3 will be what? The root of 4x plus 12, right? Sharp. And then they say this is an arithmetic. Now, guys, when they tell you that this is an arithmetic, what are they saying to you? They are saying that T2 minus T1 is equal to what? T3 minus T2. Right? Okay. Sharp. So meaning good now, when we simplify this again, we are going to have T2, which is what? 5, right? Minus 6 minus x, right? It should be equal to what? 4 with 4x plus 12 minus what? Minus 5. Then we can solve for x, ne? Okay, over here we must distribute the negative, right? So this would be 5 minus 6 plus x, right? Which is equal to what? Is equal to root 4x plus 12 minus 5. Now, what is 5 minus 6? It's negative 1, right? Sharp. Then it's going to be x minus 1 is equal to, in fact, let's just take 5 immediately to the other side, right? So it's going to be positive 5 is equal to 4x plus 12, right? Then now this is x plus 4 is equal to root 4x plus 12, right? The next thing, we must remove the root. How do we remove the root? We square both sides, right? Then this is going to be what? This is going to be plus 4 times x plus 4, ne? Which is equal to, then we remove the root, it's 4 plus 12. Then this is x squared plus 8x plus 16. This is 16, right? And then we take 4x to the other side, it becomes negative 4x and negative 12 is equal to 0, right? Okay, sharp. The next thing that we are going to do is to connect like terms. So this is 8 minus 4x, which is what? 4x, right? And 16 minus 12 is what? Is 4, ne? Equal to 0. Now, if you factorize this, x plus 2, x plus 2 is equal to 0. So x is going to be equal to what? Negative 2. So we just solved for x, ne? Okay, sharp. The next one, this is 3.2.1. 3.2.2. The question says calculate the value of the 10th term, right? And guys, for you to find the 10th term, we need the first three terms of the sequence, right? And we know x is what? It's negative 2. So meaning we're going to say this is 6 minus negative 2. That's the first term, right? And have what? 5 is the second term. Then the third term is going to be 4 times negative 2 plus 12. So the first term in our sequence is what? It's 8, right? The second term is what? 5. Then the third term is what? Is 2, ne? Sharp. And this is an arithmetic, right? So meaning the difference is negative 3, right? So we have our first term, which is equal to 8, right? And then we have our difference, which is negative 3, right? Sharp. Then if we can find Tn is a plus n minus 1 d, right? Our a is equal to 8 plus n minus 1, and then d is what? Is negative 3. So now our nth term is going to be negative 3 plus negative 3 times 1 is positive 4, right? Positive 3, right? Then now we add positive 3 to 18 to 8, it becomes what? 11. Then this is the nth term, right? Okay, sharp. Then now we are going to substitute what? 10. So we need what? 10, right? Which is negative 3, and then n is 10 plus 11. What is that? Negative 19. Very simple, ne? Okay, as marking. And after marking, I'll call you one by one. Just make sure you have your mark for question 3, your mark for question 2, and your mark for question 1, ne? Separately. Okay, sharp. For mark allocation, the first question, 3.1.1, we were asked to find the first three terms, right? And it was how many marks? It was 2 marks. Okay, sharp. You get a mark for the first term, and then you get a mark for the second two terms. There it is. 2 marks. The second question is 1 mark for you to find the ratio, which is negative 3. There's your 1 mark. Question 3 is for you to say whether the sequence converges, right? And you get a mark for no, and then you get a mark for your reason. That is 2 marks. Number 4, we had to do what? We had to calculate the sum of this sequence, right? But in terms of x, and it sharp. Then now you get a mark for the number of terms, which is 18 terms, right? And then the value of the first term, which is 81x. That's your second mark. And then correct substitution is your third mark. And then that is 3 marks. 3.2 and 3.2.1 to be specific. Hi, man. I'm good at you. Now, if you look at 3.2.1, we had to say Guti, because this is an arithmetic, we know Guti, we have to use T2 minus T1, right? So you get a mark for T2 minus T1, and then you get a mark for simplifying, ne? And then you get a mark for a standard form, you get a mark for factors, and how many marks so far? Then you get a mark for the answer. In total, this is 5 marks. 3.2.2, we had to calculate the value of the 10th term, right? Now, can you see ukuthi 10 meaning ukuthi it's n, right? Sharp. But now we needed to first find the sequence, right? We needed to find the nth term, right? Fine. So for here, you get a mark for the difference, ne? You get a mark for correct substitution to the nth term, and then you get a mark for the value of T10, which is 19, and that is 3 marks. In total, it's 16. You see, this one we wrote all of it, right? Sharp. So I'll just pause while you are doing question 4. I'll be collecting your marks, ne?